Hey, what's up? So make sure you're paying very close attention to this video just because this sheet is going to be pretty much your lifeblood of working as a manager inside of the company. This sheet's going to be very important. So I can overview everything, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, the technicians are supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing, and making sure everything's organized, stuff like that. So you'll notice over here. So you'll notice over here um, is the job track over here on the bottom is the job tracking, the employee tracking, company vehicle tracking, priority list. First of all, I'll go over the job tracking here. So this is what the sheet kind of looks like. The date is obviously the day the day you're tracking everything. So let's say it's April 15th. You put down April 15th, and then you only need to put that down once. Um, for the day. You don't need to keep that putting down April 15th. Just put it down once, because let's say we have 3 jobs in April 15th. You're going to be filling out 3 rows, but you only need to put down one date here. So you don't need to put down April 15th 3 times. So you're also going to put down the job name or the customer's name. So in your able, it says that. So I'm going to go over to your able really quick to show you what I'm talking about here. So in your able, it says the job or the customer's name here. So you put down Daniel Rodriguez. So that's just an example. You put down the van or vehicle one of the technicians is using. So let's say if they're using, if I don't have any company vehicles yet, but down the road we are definitely getting some. So let's say if one of the technicians was using, let's say the Ford Transit Connect, you put down that, you put down the employee, the job, the sorry, you'd put down the employee that they're detailing for this customer. You're going to be putting down if they arrived on time. So let's say if there's 3 different job sites going down at the same time, and you're only one person, right? So you can only be at one job site. How do you know if they arrived on time? The technician will send you a picture of the vehicle, like the interior picture, like an interior picture of the vehicle or an exterior picture of a vehicle. They'll be sending you before and after pictures. So if the before picture is before the time or around the same time they arrived on time. If it's like 10, 15 minutes later, they didn't arrive on time. And here you're going to put down if they press start and stop and you're able. So you can see this in their employee section. I can show you this in person. Otherwise, I can make another video about it. We can go over this later as well. But you're just checking that they made sure that they pressed the start and stop button and you're able, so we can calculate their pay if they're being paid hourly. You're going to be putting the number of hours they worked on that job, the total amount of revenue they made for that job, the quoted price. So let's say the quoted price was $199, but the total revenue was $249, just because we upsold them for, let's say, an exterior detail. But the quoted price is $199. We upsold them for $100 exterior detail, so the total revenue was $299. You put down all the tips the technician received, and you're going to put down, I can go over this in a different video as well, but you're going to be making sure that you did all your checklist stuff. So you did your checklist. So the checklist is you pitched the maintenance service, you got a review, or you tried pitching review, you just tried pitching upsell, you did your checklist and stuff like that. The checklist will be for a different video. I just gotta create the entire checklist for you and break down the entire checklist. And in this video, I just wanted to show you what the manager master sheet was all about. You're gonna put down if you got a review, if either you or the technician posted a referral on Facebook, if you pitched the maintenance service, and then this section here is if the customer called you back for let's say if one of the technicians missed something, let's say if they left streaks on the window, the customer might call you back or text you back and you're able, and we don't want that back. We don't want that text back, that call back, whatever. You're going to put down if they called you back here for to redo the service. All right. So that's the entire sheet for the job tracking. Now let's go over to the employee tracking. So you're also going to put down the date. Like I said, you only need to put down the date one time. You're going to put down the name of the employee, what vehicle did they use, were they on time. You're also going to put down of number of minutes late if they were. Did they clock in? Did they clock out? And were they using their polo? You can just copy and paste most of this stuff into the employee tracking too. But just make sure that you can only do you can do this one time per person. So let's say if one technician has 3 jobs, you don't have to write all 3 jobs down. Just write down one job. So like, let's say April 15th, Carson was detailing their vehicle. They used the Ford Transit Connect. Were they on time for their first detail? Yes. Any minutes late, if any? Did they clock in at the end in the beginning of the day? Did they clock out? And were they wearing their polo? That one's pretty simple. You can mainly copy and paste most of the stuff from this first sheet into this one as well. This third sheet is you're going to be tracking the company vehicle. So putting down the date only one time per day. Putting down the vehicle. So let's say if it's a van or something else, you put down the vehicle. The employee which used that vehicle during the day, the number of jobs that vehicle did. So you can check that in your able. I can show you that a different day. So you're going to be putting down the number of jobs that vehicle did per day, so you can check that in your able. So I can show you that a different day as well. I can make another video about that. You're also going to be putting down the total amount of revenue that one vehicle generated per day. So you can also check that in your able. I will put that in another video. The upsell revenue. Actually, I might delete this. Yeah, I'll delete this. This doesn't make sense for the vehicle, so don't worry about that. Don't need that either. Sorry about that. I think one of the team members, or I might have put something down. Don't worry about that part. You don't need to worry about that either. And then, was the van clean? So at the end of the day, you'll be checking, making sure that all the vans and stuff are clean. You just be like, hey, the van was clean. There's no crumbs or anything in there, and the exterior is pretty clean. Or you're also putting, or no, the van wasn't clean. Or yes, the van was clean, stuff like that. And if they're not clean, one of the technicians will come earlier before the shift and clean the van. And then you'll also be putting any notes that might be about the van. So let's say there's something wrong inside of in the van. There's like the water pump wasn't working, something like that, or we need more microfibers. More microfibers need to be clean. We need to restock. You put all the notes in there for the van. Then this is your priority list that you're going to be following. So every day you're going to be assigned to details. But let's say if we have 3 details in the morning, which detail do you go to first? This is the priority list to go to first. So let's say if you have 3 details, one's a ceramic coating, one's a full detail, one's an interior detail. You go to ceramic coating first just because it's the highest paying job. Then you go to the full detail, then the interior detail. We'll go over this later on how to kind of manage all jobs during a day. Honestly, you might not even go to the interior detail depending on the schedule. This is going to be very high level, very complicated. So we're going to go over this in a different video as well. And then let's say there's a new tech on the ceramic coating, you'd make sure you go to that first. And then let's say techs that miss some spots, that's a medium priority, and then experienced techs are a lower priority. So you can take a look at this, make sure to check just here and there, just to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. We can go over this in another video for sure. But let me know if you have any questions about how to fill out this manager master sheet. I will definitely help you with this in person, but this is just an overview. There's some other stuff that we still need to go over in this, and it's all usually, it's most of the rest of it's just looking at over everything in your able as well. Alrighty, I'm excited for this, and let's get started.